Hello everyone, welcome back to Bionicle Transformers BladeMaster. So as you can see, this is BladeMaster. So when making a new Bionicle Transformer, I kind of wanted to do something with all these gold swords I have, because I have so many gold swords. And it's good to know that I used most of them on this guy, because he looks absolutely sick. Now, if you're wondering what this is of course a tank, but instead of treads, he has these little sled things. So he's a sled tank, at least this mode is. And that's right, this is my first triple changer. Probably should have said that first. But yeah, this is the intended alt mode, but I actually had an unintended one, which I decided to add on because it looks probably just as good, if not better. But we'll get to it when we get to it. For the tank mode, I think he looks pretty good, all things considered. And I think I got some pretty genius engineering with the transformation. But as you can see, there is this cannon up front, which didn't actually shoot this because it can't. It's just decorative. In fact, unfortunately, the cannon itself can't articulate at all, but I still think it looks alright. And that's actually even more bad that it can't articulate, because this is a sled that goes in one direction. So it can only fire things at one direction, which is a shame. Oh, and from the last video, I'll just bring up this corpse right here. This dead corpse. It's a bit weird to bring up a dead corpse, but hey, it's fine. But yeah, if you're wondering the personality of Blooddragon, I didn't do it in that video because it was kind of self-explanatory. He is a monster in both modes, but he can only talk in his robot mode. The head under here is actually kind of exposed very much. You can probably see it from almost any angle, which is a big downside, but it doesn't bother me, and I don't want to cover it up. I don't even know how I could cover it up. And honestly, out of the other modes, this looks the most lackluster, despite being the most complicated, but in my opinion, it's still really good. Now with that out of the way, it's time to transform. And here is BladeMaster in his robot mode, which I am very impressed by. Right off the bat, this robot mode gives off the Fallen kind of vibes to him, being all alien, having these different parts come out, being all angular with everything, and which is, oh gosh. Which is extremely fitting, since the Fallen himself looks very Bionicle. I just love how this guy is just a bunch of blades everywhere, and the actual robot itself doesn't really have much armor plating. In fact, there was one point of the robot where he just didn't have this chest piece at all, which I thought at the time looked alright, but having this here really makes it look complete, and I like how it's upside down so that it really goes with the shape of the chest being, of course, a nacho. The thighs are both really good and really bad in my opinion. Well, one bad thing about it is the thighs can't go backward or forward, so he can't kick forward. He can only do that a little bit for articulation. But a plus side is that it makes it very sturdy and it makes him look extremely good. Now, there is these 3 pegs on the bottom, which I did want to just add on for the third mode, which just makes it more stable all around. But it does make it very hard for him to stand up in this mode. Another thing is these blades kind of move this way once the thighs like move out, which I like a lot because this whole section moves, making him really feel like an organic robot Bionicle being. And of course, his 2 swords form the cannon, which I think is really cool. It does mean that his robot mode has to have them front facing, which is kind of weird, but that actually just means he can do some pokey stuff in his robot mode, which I think is pretty funny and intimidating at the same time. Here is a size comparison between a minifigure and the Insecticon Yellow Jacket. Well, the blue pegs on the feet make him hard to stand up, and the limited articulation of the thighs, I still think his poses are extremely cool. Now, for his personality, I'd consider him similar to the Fallen, where he wants to take revenge against mankind and has a high status as a Decepticon. But he's still very honorable, with his golden yet sharp as a blade heart. Alright, so that's where this video would have ended, but I kind of turned this guy on his side, and I noticed, oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. Aw yeah, baby. Now this is an alt mode. Yeah, this guy makes an insanely good looking plane. After doing this, all I had to do was just add those blue pegs so that this front piece is pretty stable. I also added this piece on just to cover this piece up, which also covered up a bunch of space here in the robot mode, which I really like. I can't really describe how this looks cool, but it basically is like if the Fallen toys were done right. Because the Fallen toys kind of just look like he's just mangled up. They're supposed to be Cybertronian alt modes, but really just a bunch of yoga poses he's doing. This guy just looks like there's so much detail in this one area that it makes everything look so much better. And I love how it makes just splits the cannon, which is a detail that makes this alt mode really look like it comes from either of the modes, which is really good. And this alt mode can even have the cannon on it. So let me just show you how to do that. And look at that, see? Now it's a jet with a cannon on it. Really intimidating. Nice, now I made the tank mode obsolete. And I know this also looks like he's just laying down if you kind of pay attention to only the Bionicle pieces. But in my opinion, he looks like he's laying down and turned into a bunch of deadly swords. Alright, that's all I gotta say about BladeMaster. This has been Bionicle Transformers, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.